Hey there, if you've ever opened up Excel, looked at all those boxes, and just felt completely lost, you are in exactly the right place. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on this incredibly powerful tool and give you the absolute core concepts you need to get started with confidence. And we're going to do it all in about 5 minutes.
So, here's our game plan. First, we'll get the big picture on what Excel even is. Then, we'll explore your digital canvas, where all the work gets done. After that comes the fun part, making Excel do the magic for you. And finally, we'll wrap it all up with how to save and share whatever you create. Ready? Let's do this.
Okay, first things first. Before we even think about clicking a single cell, let's talk about the big picture. What is Excel, really? And more importantly, why should you care?
At its heart, Excel is basically a giant grid. You can think of it like digital graph paper, but on steroids. It's all designed to organize information, any kind of information, into neat columns and rows. And that super simple structure, that's its secret sauce. It's what lets it do everything from a simple household budget to analyzing massive data sets for a huge company.
And don't for a second think this is just a tool for accountants. No way. The real power of Excel is just how versatile it is. You could be planning a project, calculating your monthly bills, or whipping up a cool chart for a presentation. This is the go-to tool. Honestly, that's why it's a fundamental skill in pretty much any career out there.
Okay, so now that we know what it is, let's explore your digital canvas. This is the actual workspace where all the magic happens. Understanding the layout is absolutely key.
Here's probably the easiest way you'll ever hear this explained. An entire Excel file is called a workbook. Just picture a digital 3-ring binder. And inside that binder, you can have a bunch of different pages, right? Well, each one of those pages is called a worksheet. That's it, a binder and its pages.
So the worksheet is your canvas. It's that grid with the letters across the top and the numbers down the side. This is where you're going to do all your work. You could have just one sheet for a simple to-do list, or you could have dozens for a huge, complex report, each sheet holding its own piece of the puzzle.
And managing these pages in your digital binder? It's super easy. Instead of having those boring default names like Sheet 1, Sheet 2, which, let's be honest, aren't very helpful, you can rename them to something useful like January Budget or Client List. A simple right-click is all it takes to add, delete, or rename your sheets to keep everything perfectly organized.
All right, now for the really cool stuff. This is the point where Excel stops being just a static grid and actually becomes an active partner, one that does all the heavy lifting for you. So picture this. You've got a long list of numbers and you need the total. Do you pull out your phone's calculator? Absolutely not. You use a formula. But how does that even work?
Think of formulas as little commands or magic spells that you give to Excel to do math for you. You can see here, a simple command like SUM will add up an entire column of numbers in the blink of an eye. Average? Well, that one does exactly what it sounds like. You can even get into really complex logic. These are the building blocks that automate everything and save you from hours of tedious manual work.
Let's break this down real quick. That equal sign at the beginning, that's you telling Excel, hey, get ready to calculate something. The word sum is the name of the function. We want to add things up. And the part in the parentheses, B2 through B10, is just you telling it which cells to add. You hit enter, and bam, your total just appears. It's awesome.
Now, formulas are one amazing way to save time. But what if you didn't have to start from a blank canvas at all? Well, that's where templates come in. Excel has you covered. Need a calendar, an invoice, a project plan? Just search for it. Excel will give you a professionally designed spreadsheet, often with all the formulas already built right in. All you have to do is plug in your own info. It's a total game changer.
All right, we're on the home stretch. This is our final and really crucial step. You've made something great, and now you need to save it and maybe share it with some other people. And believe it or not, the format you choose to save it in actually matters. A lot.
You know when you go to save your file, and you see that drop-down menu with a bunch of confusing acronyms? XLSX, XLSM, CSV, it looks like alphabet soup, right? So what is the difference and which one should you use? Let's clear up the most important ones right now.
The biggest takeaway here is that each format has a very specific job. Look, 99% of the time, you're going to use point xlsx. That's the standard for all your everyday spreadsheets. If you've built some advanced automation scripts, which are called macros, you'll need point xlsm. If you just want to export raw data, no formatting, just the text and numbers, you use point CSV. And finally, if you want to send someone a final report that they can't easily edit, you save it as a PDF. Simple as that.
So this is probably the most common choice you're going to have to make. And here's the easiest way to never forget it. That M in XLSM stands for macro.
And macros are just little scripts that automate tasks. For security reasons, those scripts are disabled in a normal .xlsx file. So the rule is dead simple. Always use .xlsx unless you have specifically created one of these automations. Then you have to use .xlsm.
And just like that, you've got the essentials. You know Excel is way more than just a grid. You know how to navigate your digital binder, you've seen the power of formulas, and you know how to save your work like a pro. These are the fundamental building blocks for everything else you can do in Excel. The canvas is officially yours. So the only question left is, what will you build first?